Right. Well, you're probably not going to find out anything about me or my work. My name's Tom. Tom DeMaio, silent J. Oh, it's this version. Okay, so the last few days I've weirdly got a bit obsessed about tubes for some reason. And while thinking about what to talk about today, I had no idea, so I thought I'll go with that. We'll start off. This is the London Underground map. That's where I'm from. Spent a lot of time moving around London in that way. And this is one of my favorite shapes. It's called a torus. And essentially, a torus is a donut. And it's a tube, really. And I think over the course of this talk, we might find that we've all got something in common with the torus, or maybe not. So let's talk about tubes that we all have. The first one, I'm talking out of one of my tubes, vibrating the air through these tubes and into your ears, which are vibrating them, turning them back into something that you hopefully understand. There's a lot going on there, and I'm not a biologist, but it's still pretty extraordinary. And then more tubes that are transferring light waves through our eyeballs into kind of electrical impulses and sending them down our optic nerves, which is not very long. But that's essentially, these kind of tubes carry the signal for us to be able to see the world around us. And of course, we've got the tube which connects our arses to our arses. Did I say our arses to our arses? Our mouths to our arses. I was measuring all the different kind of animal, the lengths of animal intestines and seeing how they work. And of course, as food goes through your system, it gets transferred. So essentially, this tube is a kind of energy transformation system. And of course, we've got the air that we breathe going through the vast tree-like structures of our lungs. And of course, this is just tubes upon tubes, and a tree is just a structure that is made of tubes fighting against gravity. They're everywhere. It's crazy, this kind of whole tube thing. They're in us and they're outside us. So a talk like this about tubes wouldn't be anything without acknowledging some of the most important tubes in our lives. This is the male reproductive tube. And I thought, this fellow over here is actually a cross-section, which is a painful thought, but at the same time, I think it's important for us to all kind of accept that this is part of the physical makeup of the human being. And this tube, this is actually not another penis. But I think, in a way, this shows that there are a lot of similarities between the two sexes and their tube system. And of course, this is the tube system which transforms genetic material into life. So an important one, and a more complex one than we might realize. And of course, those tubes in particular are very sensitive. And those tubes rely on these tubes to send electrical impulses to our brains to give us feelings of pleasure, tenderness, pain, all the things we're kind of used to experiencing through the world through our fingertips. So kind of what's that got to do with us, I suppose? Well, we're using tubes all the time to connect one thing to another, to transform one form of energy into another, to kind of amplify things, to connect things, to send little impulses, signals, bits of information from one place to another, like the patches that Matthew was talking about. These things can get super complex. And this is the biggest tube we've ever made as a species. It's a 27-kilometer Hadron Collider in CERN, which is a damn huge tube. And basically a playground for people to smash things together and create these incredible things, which hopefully will teach us more about our existence as creatures on this planet. Tubes, they're very important. They're educational. And you could say that the pathways that these particles are taking are creating tubes of their own, which kind of takes me back to the tube map. And this is more of a kind of conceptual tube network, which is the map of the internet in 2004, showing the servers that are connected around the world, creating this kind of incredible map that defines in some interesting way how we're starting to connect with each other around the world through these tubes. I find the Glasgow tube extremely sweet. As a Londoner, I'm used to something a bit more grand, but the tube, the journey from one place to another is a super important part of any tube system. And how does that come into, what's that got to do with us? Well, a lot of music is made using tubes, of course. We've got a kilometre-long piece of brass. It's not actually a kilometre long. French horn there, and ye olde didgeridoo, which is one of the most basic sound-making tubes. And these lines that we make, whether they're straight and cubic or whether they're lines from one point to another, these kind of carrier tubes have been used by composers for ages to start thinking about composing music in interesting ways. And essentially, I suppose my overall kind of idea here, or not really idea, observation, is that over time and through space, there's a journey of transformation that takes place through these tubes and through the networks that we create and are made of. And this transformational thing gives us all the incredible pieces of work that we have here, and helps us experience reality as we feel it. So, 100,000 kilometers of blood vessels in our bodies. That's a lot of tubes. 5 meters of digestive tract, but that 5 meters has 50 to 300 square meters of absorbance capacity. And so that kind of, the material of the tube itself has a huge impact on the transformation of energy going through it. And that's me saying goodbye. Pointing down.